Bear with me one moment. I will be right with you. Hello, everybody, brothers, sisters, comrades, and friends. I'm sorry about the technical gremlins. All of my time zones are wrong. Can you see me okay? Can you hear me okay? And let me just update. Okay, yes, I'm glad to be here with all of you. I'm sorry that a couple of you were in a different room. It's boring technical stuff. It doesn't really matter. Before we start, I need a lemonade. I'll be right back. Oh, where are you going? You coming with me? There we go. Professional as always. I'm drinking. Oh, hello. This is Leica, everybody. Leica, this is all of my sober friends. I'm drinking a Greek lemonade called Mastikwa. 280 is about right, DTS. Leica, like the camera, that's correct, yeah. So I have a fondness for Leica cameras, and that's what I named my dog after. But Leica is also the name of a Russian dog. Don't eat my dinner, come away. Name of a Russian dog, the first dog in space. So my dog kind of memorializes that. Okay, so let me tell you what's going on tonight. I have stuff to talk about. I have some talking points to discuss, but really the last one I did was very formal, and in which it was just me kind of broadcasting about sobriety. So this time I'm going to keep it a bit more relaxed. Come on. And just to answer questions. I'll be around to answer any questions that you have. Do you do your haircuts yourself? Yes, I do. That feels like an insult. Is it because I've missed a bit? Let me check. Oh, I have a little bit, yeah, over here. What's your thoughts on the 0.0% alcohol products? You think they're a useful tool for some, or also something that a risk that can make people backslide into alcohol? Okay, a very meaty first question. What do I think of 0% alcohol drinks? I support them. I don't do it myself very often for the simple reason that I think soft drinks are better. You know, like just because something is called a mojito, it doesn't necessarily have to reflect an alcoholic drink. I think that a minty lemonade drink is just nice on its own. Just, you know, there's no reason to pretend that it's an alcoholic drink. But with 0.0% beers, I see the place for them. And I will occasionally, very rarely, have one myself. And I feel for some people, look, there's a lot of masculine culture around drinking, right? And if you're the only one in your friend group who's gone sober, there can be pressure on you to still kind of hang out with your friends and feel like you're part of the gang. And for those reasons, I think 0.0% beer is really good in like a pub, and for people who are just easing into sobriety. So yeah, I'm in favor. I think, and also Dan was talking about this earlier. Dan and Alf Sober Swims, saying that they're good now. Like alcohol-free beers are good. So I'm in favor. Let's go with another one. Energy drinks, do you use them? Yes, I do. I like. One of the problems with alcoholism is that your body lacks electrolytes. So I like energy drinks for that reason. But also, I'm still an addict. I like anything that gives me a bit of a feeling in my body, you know? Do you know what I mean by that? Like, you want to drink a thing that gives you a sensation that you've had a drink. And a Red Bull can do that for me. I've become a bit of a pushover in sobriety, where I used to be able to drink 1.5 liters of whiskey. Now, if I have a packet of salt and vinegar crisps, I wake up with a hangover. So I have to be careful, even with things like Red Bull. Has Jan Guardian asks, has your alcohol addiction led you to other addictive behaviors? More like, I don't think that my behavior now is addictive in the conventional sense, but I am obsessive about stuff like weight training. I go through periods where I do it like 2 times a day until my body doesn't move anymore, and that can't be healthy. So I'm not really, it's not really, I haven't replaced my addiction with other addictive behaviors. It's more like I have unhealthy relationships with lots of other things. I have this theory, and perhaps this is not the right forum to be putting unscientific theories in, but I have this theory that there's only one addiction with infinite or like huge amounts of variations. Addiction is just one baseline condition, but it manifests in lots of different ways. So it's alcohol, or it's an obsessive compulsive disorder like, I don't know, sex addiction or porn addiction or gambling, or it's chemical addiction, but there's really just one addiction, just in lots of different variations. So it never really goes away. You just kind of sweat it out in different variations. And for me, it was exercise. Let's keep going. Here's an uncomfortable one. After I got dry, I found my anorgasmia returned. I think it contributed to the downfall of my relationship with my girlfriend. Upstating, that's a big question to kick off the live stream. But since I was I kept you all waiting, it's only fair that I do the question justice. So what upstating here is that, what upstating's question is about is whether there's an effect of quitting drinking. Does it affect your orgasm cycle? Can it lead to inorgasmia, the inability to orgasm? That sounds to me like a complex of underlying mental health issues. So inorgasmia is generally the product, or it can be the product of various different mental health conditions rather than a physiological problem, although it is that sometimes. It's like, if you're a male-bodied person, a prostate condition can cause inorgasmia, or there's various other things. But in general, the larger part of inorgasmia is actually caused by, it's kind of psychosomatic in a sense. That's not to demean it, but it's very common that it's PTSD, or it's a trauma response that prevents you being able to achieve orgasm. So I think because health conditions and mental health tend to be interrelated, I think you might find upstating that what you need to do is examine whether your mental health might be the cause. That's pure speculation. Go and speak to a health professional. Okay, let's keep it rocking. Thank you, Elmal 1915. Thank you very much for that contribution. I really appreciate it. The comment says, please keep doing what you're doing. God bless you and the backcountry community. You couldn't stop me doing this if you tried. This has become such a massive part of my life that I look forward to doing it, even when I get the timing wrong. Let me find another question. Greetings from Finland. Greetings from Romania. Greetings from Connecticut. What have your eating habits become like? Asks Journey of RIP. Good to see you here, Journey. I hope your own journey is still going well. We're all proud of your progress. What have my eating habits become like? So I ate crap before I got sober, and now I still eat crap, but I don't have the alcohol. I love food, and I have no intention of like changing my diet drastically, but I don't eat a great deal of red meat anymore. I do when I'm out. If I'm at a restaurant or something, I might, but I don't have any hard and fast rules about my diet. Usually it's pasta and seafood. And it's very much the central part of my diet. So to answer your question, my diet is not anything particularly special. Lots of sardines, lots of oily fish. I had a head injury, so lots of oily fish. That's what my diet is about, and rice. Thank you for the question. There we go. Kivo, do you manage to control the codeine tablets now? For those who are not familiar with my background, about 2 months ago, I accidentally started taking codeine tablets at an insane rate, and it didn't last very long. I will never, ever do it again. So Kivo, I did manage to control them as soon as I was able to be in my right mind. Those codeine tablets made me insane. I had what's called codeine psychosis, including, ironically, the word for when you can't remember. I forgot the word for when you can't remember. So I've got like 8 days that I just purely have no memory of from that period, because I was getting medicated with other things at the same time. But to answer your question directly, yeah, I got it under control really quickly. I won't go back to it. Hello from the USA. 3 months sober this week. Congratulations. 3 months is a very big threshold. Peter Hoare, 3754. A while ago, I asked you about the prevalence of alcoholism in the performing arts. Did you have any thoughts as to why alcoholism is so well represented, or is it more so than any other discipline? So is there more alcoholism in performing arts like music and acting and that kind of thing? Yes. It's my opinion that among musicians and actors and creative people and like deeply sensitive people, the rates of alcoholism actually are higher. You can pick any profession and make it sound like alcoholism is a problem. So I could make the case, if I was convincing enough, that real estate agents have a big alcohol problem. You can just say a profession and make it sound like alcohol is a problem. But it is my firm belief that particularly musicians, to a lesser extent actors, do have a higher rate of alcoholism. And I think it's because alcoholism, for some of us, it's caused by an inability to express ourselves and a desire to express ourselves. That includes like real blue collar, like working class people. It's the same thing. We tend to be quite sensitive people, and musicians and actors tend to be quite sensitive. And I think that's why there's an overlap with alcoholism. And also there are so many, raise your hand if you're a musician. I guarantee that it's a significant amount of people. Chefs too. Chefs also over-index on alcoholism. And I think there is something about the desire to express oneself, which comes through cooking, through music, through performing, through writing as well. Good question. Okay, let's find another one. Thank you, Dead Gamers. That is a wonderful contribution. I truly appreciate it. Thank you so much. Alio248 asks, "Hi Stu, I found your journey fascinating and inspiring. Thank you very much. My question is there any way to break through to an alcoholic who is in deep denial, or do you have to leave them to figure it out?" Big question. A lot of responsibility on my response to this. You have to give guidance to an alcoholic in denial. You can intervene and get the police involved and give them strong hints that their behavior is unacceptable. and is causing a problem for everybody. But ultimately, their decision to get better has to be an internal one. So you can apply a bunch of external factors like pleading with them or cutting them out of your life or getting professional health services involved or getting the police involved. All of that those are viable options that are available to you. But ultimately, it is them who has to, you can open the door, but it is them who has to decide to walk through it. Otherwise, the sobriety won't stick. They have to be truly committed to it. And at some point, this is hard to say, but I say this as someone who faced this myself. At some point, if you're around an alcoholic and they show no intention of getting better, it's okay to walk away, right? Because if you walk away, the best outcome is that they recognize that they need to change and they get better. Unfortunately, the flip side is that they don't get better. And that should tell you that they never would get better. They were never intending to get better, and you made the right decision by walking away. So walking away is a win-win situation for you and gives them a good chance of getting better. I hope that answers the question. Dead Gamers 13, who left a lovely contribution there, asks, I know someone who drinks far in excess than I do, and they're a lot older than me, yet they seemingly seem to be able to do things I no longer can easily. Right, so some people, I feel like I'm speaking very broadly, but there are some communities who have a better genetic predisposition to high tolerance for alcohol. There's also, similarly, the opposite is that some people have a lower tolerance of alcohol. That's why people in East Asia have a different response to alcohol than, Nordic people or Western Europeans or, Irish or Scandinavian. And that's a fundamental truth, is that some people are born with higher ceilings for their drinking capacity. That's not a good thing. Rates of alcoholism are pretty steady across the board. Some people will just take more and still be able to function. But don't be tricked. Don't think that that is something to be desired or admired, because everybody is susceptible to the same outcomes from alcoholism, from alcohol consumption. And if you drink more than somebody else, you are at more risk of health complications like liver cirrhosis and kidney failure and that kind of thing. So I hope that clears it up. Don't feel bad that somebody can drink more than you and still operate. Be grateful that you can't. Journey of RIP, 6 months in now, mate. 6 months, that's fantastic. Everyone say congratulations to Journey of RIP, Journey of RIP. Let's keep it moving. Lots of praise. Amnesia. Thank you, Zali McAlpin, with the word amnesia, jogging my memory there because I forgot the word amnesia. It's terrible. The irony. Mikkel Cracker, I love your videos. Thank you, my friend. Brent Gill confirms the suspicion that I mentioned a moment ago. I work in the performing arts and definitely more drinking. I can vouch. Violet Line says, I love your videos. The codeine story was insane. I've never heard of codeine psychosis before and have a lot of experience with that substance. Are they certain it was the codeine? Okay, yeah, I don't want to go too deep on it, but it was the codeine that started it. And then I was prescribed something called Amarol, which is a dangerous thing to give to somebody who has a brain injury. And I think that's largely where my amnesia came from, was from that medication, but it's boring technical details. And I don't fully understand it myself. Amy Sugar asks, a question about your photographic interest. Do you have a favorite camera and have you dabbled in film photography, presuming from your dog's name? What other hobbies have you taken on in sobriety? My favorite camera ever is this one on the tripod over here. That is the one I film with, and it's the one I do most of my professional work with, and it's the one I do like my casual photography with. That is a Lumix S5 2X. A clunky name, but Lumix is an underrepresented brand in photography. Everyone knows Nikon and Canon and Fujifilm and Sony, but Lumix, that camera is the best all-round camera for my purposes in the world. It'll be years before I need to upgrade. It's just been a revelation to me, and I take it most places I go. As far as film photography, yeah, you can't see it from here, but I'm a big collector of vintage cameras. I have 2 film Leica cameras, hence the dog's name. One of them I can no longer get film for, but I still keep it because I love it. And other hobbies, I had a lot of hobbies going into alcoholism, and all I've done is deepen my love for them. So I still write a lot just for myself, exercise, strength training, and yeah, lots of time with my dog. Thank you for letting me talk for a moment about my camera and my love for my Lumix S5 IIX. If you know, you know. Okay, let's keep it rolling. Okay. Oh man, I'm dragging my feet here. I'm having to scroll back. Okay, let's find another question. Would you recommend trying any medication in order to keep sober from alcohol? Asks Abro7009. I am an advocate for damage limitation. Yes, I would say it's about minimizing. Look, for me, my path through this is pure abstinence, and I would rather be sober from everything. But I recognize there are times when we need medical assistance. And if you're prescribed something like Antabuse, you should take it. And you should seek it out. If you think it's going to help you, then I just think that alcoholism is so destructive that you should be doing anything that's the lesser of the evils. Right, like weed, for example. I don't do it myself, but I'm pro weed for sobriety from alcohol, and that's how you should phrase it. If your sobriety from alcohol is the right way to phrase it, rather than just general sobriety, but that's nitpicking over language. If you need medication to stay sober, that's fair. Take it and trust it and use it. Anything to stop the alcohol, because it's the alcohol that will kill you the quickest and the most destructively. DTS Sobriety, hey, it's good to see you here. What emotion is your strongest drinking trigger? 2, abject depression, which I have from time to time. I tended to drink in depression, but also success, happiness. I swing I swing both ways, to use a slightly dodgy sounding phrase, in that the depression and isolation would make me drink, but also feeling good about something I've achieved could also drive me back to the bottle. I was at equal risk either way. And that's a terrible way to live, not being able to celebrate and not being able to feel miserable, and instead having to maintain a kind of plateau, otherwise you might relapse. But that's the way of it. So yeah, it's extremes of emotion. Like a lot of us addicts and alcoholics, we are people of extremes, right? We're all in, we're all or nothing, we're 0 to 100. It's either all the alcohol or none at all. It's either we're the drunkest person in the room or we're the most sober person on YouTube. And it's the same with moods. At the extremes of my mood, either if I'm very, very happy, that's a risk. If I'm very, very depressed, that's also a risk. It's a very good question. I'd like to know what other people's answer to that one is. The question again is, what emotion is your strongest drinking trigger? So leave your answers in the chat if you would. Okay. Jorma X says, I'm a singer-songwriter and an alcoholic. And Zali McAlpin says, yes, a musician. Violet Lines says, I've got an EP on Spotify. So lots of confirmation about musicians and alcoholism. Brent Gill again asks, do you work in the performing arts in addition to the adult industry? Also, what are your thoughts on Antabuse? Okay, so I don't work in the performing arts. I've written scripts and stuff, but mainly for like TV adverts and speeches for VIPs and stuff. I have no desire. This is so unusual for me to be on camera. This is not natural to me. I'm a very behind the scenes person. I dread the thought of performing, and I would never go onto a stage in front of a group of people, in front of an audience. It gives me anxiety to think about, but I love the process. I love the craft of like, same with like stand-up comedy, is that I love the craft that goes into it. The writing process and the refinement, all of that, it really appeals to me, but the performing of it doesn't at all. So no. And my thoughts on Antabuse, I just mentioned. I am pro Antabuse. You're no less sober if you're taking it. You're perfectly sober from alcohol. Whatever you're doing to stay off alcohol, you're sober from alcohol. Okay. Yeah. Upstating says, holy crap, my brief time in the food service, I swear everyone in the kitchen was on something. Me and my old head chef used to sneak, when I was like 19, we used to sneak into the walk-in freezer and smoke a joint in the freezer. Everybody in the catering industry, everybody in the kitchen is on something for sure. Okay. Oh, out of the dark sobriety again. Have you noticed a link between urges to drink and moon phases? You mentioned on Patreon something about full moon and several people having backslides and relapses. That's a thinker out of the dark sobriety. I will say that I have not made that connection, but I am willing to believe. And I think I'll leave my answer there because that's got me excited to go and look up to see if there's any studies on it. So that would be me down a rabbit hole tomorrow trying to find if there's a connection between relapse and moon phases. Because I am willing to investigate. Look out for a video on that topic coming soon, because actually you do it out of the dark sobriety and link me. Let me know when it's ready. Dead Gamers asks, do you think that alcohol being so readily available in shops, supermarkets and petrol stations and online delivery services have created a society of dependency? Very good question. I believe that those shops are servicing a demand. They didn't create the demand. I think that what happened was somewhere in the 18th century, before all of these liquor stores and delivery services, way before all of that, alcohol got really strong. So for hundreds of years, mead was the alcohol of choice at like 3%, and that's just honey and water and yeast. A very, very simple recipe. And people were drinking that in excess, but it's very difficult to get addicted to such low volumes of alcohol. And then wine appeared, but it was usually taken with a lot of water, usually quite watered down. And societies would even criticize other societies if they drank unwatered wine because it was very strong. But all of that existed until the 18th century. Suddenly we have what was called brandy. Brandy was like a generic term for distilled spirits. And then from that, we got gin and whiskey, and there was an explosion of gin in London. And that's what created the demand for strong liquor. All of the shops came after the demand in my research. And what that means is that all of these shops and delivery services are just fulfilling the demand. You know, it's not the supply that's the problem. It's education about the dangers of alcohol. It's the drinkers that are the problem. That said, delivery services have changed the face of alcoholism everywhere they appear. I used not being able to get alcohol was the one thing that would occasionally keep me sober. If it was a bank holiday in a remote village or something, and I literally couldn't get drunk, then that was the only thing that would keep me sober. But now I can just pick up my smartphone and I've got a bottle of vodka at my doorstep 20 minutes later. And that is tragic news for alcoholics. Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about that because there are plenty of people who use those services who don't have problems. We are the minority, and I wouldn't want it taken away from people who can drink responsibly just because I can't. I hope that answers your question. Thank you very much for the good one. Brain fried fish. Do you think AA could be more helpful to more people if changes were made to the program? And if so, what changes do you think would help? An absolutely beautiful question. I am about to get out my soapbox. Yeah, AA is a net positive. So any criticism I have are outweighed by the benefit I think that it does for the general public. That said, I do have criticisms, and I think that AA is a system that was written in the 30s and became widespread in the 50s, a time of very different ethical and moral standards from today. That is to say, it's 70 years out of date. Look, this is a weird example. I think I might have mentioned this on the channel before, but it's a little bit like the spelling in English, right? So what happened when the first dictionary was published in 1750? British English spoken in England and the colonies? There was thousands and thousands of different accents, and all spelling was different according to the region you were in. So the word church, for example, we spell today C-H-U-R-C-H. But in England, it was perfectly reasonable to also say kirk, K-I-R-K. It's the same word. Or kircher, or chirk, or any variation of that. There was like 15 different spellings. And then a dictionary appeared in 1755, and it codified English spelling, made everybody spell exactly the same. And our pronunciation has since changed, but the spelling has remained. And now, if you're learning English as a second language, you will have found this very difficult, is that the spelling doesn't represent the spoken language at all. Think about the word through, T-H-R-O-U-G-H. That's because it was originally pronounced throth, when it was written down in the dictionary, but now we've changed it to through, so it no longer represents the spoken word. That's what AA is like. The big book is written for Protestant white Americans in the 1950s, and while I believe that AA is certainly a net positive, and I don't want my criticism to be extended beyond the language, that's the only thing I'm talking about here, I think it would be of benefit to update it, yes. In fact, I even have my own version of the Serenity Prayer. I won't bore you with it. But that's my answer to that. It could do with some updating, and I think it would help. Yeah. Good question. Hi Stu, what's your bench rep, 1 rep max personal record? My bench press isn't fantastic. It's 140 kilograms. My squat is about 200 and my deadlift is about 280. A PR, 1 rep PR. Thank you but my bench press, I've got a broken elbow, so I just can't do a bench press very well. Okay, yeah, a lot of people waiting for the other stream. Go and tell them it's here. Okay, let's keep moving. Shoe Vision asks, during your heaviest drinking, have you ever had a lapse where it has only lasted a day, not a prolonged relapse? I need to think about this one. No, I don't think so. I think that every relapse I've had since I started getting sober has been a serious one. I don't think I've ever had like one drink and then said enough, or been drunk just for one day and said enough. I'm pretty sure since I started getting sober in about 2018, the end of 2018, I've never had a one-off day. All of my relapses have been all or nothing. But thank you for the question. DTS sobriety. Do you think cultivating awareness of the present moment can prevent relapse, or is it about habits and environment? It's both. Those two things are not in conflict with each other. It's all of those things that you mentioned. Cultivating awareness of the present moment. Let me expand on that for a moment. Okay, so my mindfulness knowledge is not the best. My own background is a philosophical one. My own system of sobriety is a philosophical one rather than a mindful one. But being present in the moment is about being very aware, very in touch with what your body is doing, for me, and you're controlling your breath very well and being connected to your surroundings. And I think that can be useful to prevent relapse. For example, the technique of urge surfing. If you feel an urge and you just kind of ride it out, you can almost perversely kind of enjoy it. It's kind of thrilling. I think that would qualify for being aware of the present moment. Or is it about habits and environment? It's equally about habits and environment. I also honestly think that urges are closely related to your environment. So if, for example, you used to drink at 5 p.m. every day on the sofa, in sobriety, you're going to have the urge to drink at 5 p.m. on that sofa. And the only thing to do when you have that urge, or one of the things you can do, is to get up and leave the room. That is a legitimate way to fight those urges, is to change your environment, change your habits. So that would be my answer. It's all of the things that you mentioned, DTS sobriety. Thank you for the thoughtful question. Congratulations, Butterscotch Ripple, for 193 days. You've broken the back of the thing. Next milestone will be a year. Congratulations. Ninja Dragon Wizard asks, how has it been out in Cyprus with everything going on in the Middle East? The Cypriot attitude to getting drone bombed by Iran is to shrug and order another espresso. The local Cypriots, it's difficult to intimidate them. They live in a country that has been repeatedly invaded, and they've still kept their national pride and their national character. A few drone bombs from coming out of Iran is not going to faze them. And as for me, I live very close to the British military base, and I find that reassuring rather than disquieting. Having a British passport myself, I have an Irish passport and a British one. I know that if there is any trouble, I can just run. It's like walking distance for me. I can just go there and they'll protect me because that's UK sovereign land over there. But there's no great threat. People aren't expecting it to spill over. I think, as I mentioned previously, the one thing that people are concerned about is the influx of refugees out of the Near East here, because we're just across the water from some places that are getting bombed pretty heavily. And to that end, I did register to volunteer for a refugee not-for-profit charity to go and support. If there is a rise in refugees seeking shelter, then I can go and pitch in with my downtime. But in general, people here aren't very worried. Okay, let's continue. Sila Umizlu, forgive me for mispronouncing that, Sila. I have a friend called Sila. I wonder if that's you in disguise. The question is, have you ever found that kindling reverses after years of sobriety, even partially, or once has someone experienced withdrawals, are they basically doomed? Not even one occasional beer. The truth is, Sila, my friend, is that the way for me to find that out would be to relapse and go through withdrawal again, and I refuse. Um, I my feeling is that the damage is done, and I think that when people say they might have another drink in them, but they haven't got another recovery in them. That's how I feel. I think that my kindling is irreversible, and a single drink would lead to another relapse, which would lead to I would pick up exactly where I left off, but worse. That's my feeling, and I have no desire to test that theory, as you can imagine. Thank you for the question. Oops, skipped a bunch again. Let me find where I was. Forgive me, bear with me one moment. I'm sorry, I skipped forward a lot, and there's been a lot of comments since I've been rambling. Now I'm struggling to find where I left off. I'm just gonna have to pick somewhere at random. Oh, I'm just catching up now to people sharing the emotions that made them relapse. Sadness, anxiety, and loneliness, says Maltese. Find it hard to feel levity without a drink. Find it difficult to be flirty. Good news, Nickelodeon 81. You've been with me from the very early days, Nickelodeon. It's good to see you here. My biggest triggers are good news, feeling good, completing something important. Yeah, I think that's fear of success. If you're like me, that's what it is. The fear of having to do the thing that you've achieved. Okay, Butterscotch Ripple asks, I can't shake the desire for just 3 beers again to remember the feeling. I fight this urge daily. Will this go away with time? I have almost 7 months. Yes, it will. I can say with confidence that that will go away. But there's this phrase in AA. It gets easier, but it never gets easy. What that means is, yes, your urges will diminish in time, and that's great, but it will never go away completely. You will always be in the fight. So it's time to square your shoulders and look it in the eye a little bit there. Keep fighting. Eventually you'll realize that you've stopped fighting and it's become kind of automatic. But yeah, that's what I would say to that. Rave Damsey, great name. What non-substance life experience have you personally found to best give you that feeling something feeling? I know exactly what you mean by that. Can I say this? I hope no one I'm related to is listening. Masturbation is the answer to that, Rave Damsey. No one else in the sober community is brave enough to say it, but I will say it. Masturbation is like a shortcut for feeling good, for endorphins and dopamine and that stuff. Aside from that, exercise gives me all of the endorphins. For a long time, exercise stopped giving me endorphins in sobriety. It took a long time for me for the endorphins to come back, but now that's good enough for me. And a good night's sleep. Boring stuff, I'm afraid, but thank you for the good question. Lots of very good conversation backwards and forwards here. I love to see it. Karma Purple asks, who are your favorite comedians? Richard Pryor is a classic. I saw Eddie Murphy's Delirious when I was far too young to watch Delirious, and I loved it. It's awful now. You can't watch it these days. It is extremely, extremely dated, but that was a big impact on me. But today, there's a guy called Nate Bargatze who does like really clean comedy. He's not doing it on purpose. He's just kind of a nice guy. But I find him really, really good. I've known about him for a long time, so it's great to see him have the success that he's had recently. He's great. He's also a sober guy. He quit drinking. And then Shane Gillis. I know that's an easy pick, but I really like Shane Gillis. I think he's the right kind of bad taste without tipping over into being outright obnoxious. Tig Notaro is fantastic. If you haven't seen Tig Notaro, Go and Google Tig Notaro stool, right? It, she did this bit where she went on, I think it's Conan or something like that. And when you go on Conan or any of those late night shows, it's a big deal for a comedian. It can make or break your career. And there's a bit in it, I won't ruin it entirely for you, but there's a bit where she's sat on stage and she's doing a joke. She stands up and the stool that she's on squeaks and everybody laughs. And she notices that that's what got the laugh. And she spends the rest of her time just pushing the stool around on stage. It's absolutely so brave and so funny. But yeah, very eclectic comedy taste. Thank you for the question. Trinker asks, I had to go to a funeral Thursday and the urge to drink came back, but I didn't drink, but the urge is not gone. How can I stop it now? Well, congratulations for having not given in. Funerals are massive stumbling blocks for everybody, you know, and the fact that you didn't cave in at the time speaks to your resilience. So be proud of that. And the way to deal with that urge now is to recognize that you already did the hard part. Okay, so just let the urge fizzle out on its own. You're going to have to ride this one out, I think. You did the hard part already. Don't let it beat you now. You've already done it. So congratulations. Just look this one in the eye and say, nice try, not this time. People talking about moon phases and relapse, that's really on my mind now. Okay, where are we up to? Bench press 1 rep max. I'm sure I answered that. DTS sobriety again. Are you a perpetual learner like me? I am. Yeah, I stuff my brain. I've got no time for fiction anymore. Any time that I'm reading or I'm watching videos, it's either just complete brain rot or it's lectures. You know, like most of the big universities in the US release a lot of their courses, their lecture courses, onto YouTube for free. So I find myself, like last night, I was watching a lecture about quantum physics and superpositions. And I feel like watching fiction. I don't even watch movies anymore. I feel like it's a waste of my time. Like if it's not contributing some knowledge to me, then I don't have time for it. This is a product of sobriety. It truly is, because one of the things that sobriety gives you back is time, right? You have so much time on your hands that it becomes precious to you, and you really resent how much time you wasted drinking. That you start to become very defensive over your time. And now I feel when I'm watching fiction or when I'm doing brain rot on TikTok or something, I feel like it's a waste of time. And if it's not adding to my brain, then I don't really have time for it. So that's my entire life now, is non-fiction books, non-fiction articles and documentaries and lectures. I'm the most boring man. For someone who's got 20 years in the adult industry, I am the most boring person you'll ever meet today. Here's to being boring. Cheers. Meme Vector asks, when do the cravings go away? For me, it was about a year, I think. It was about 9 months before the dreaming about alcohol stopped being more or less every night. And at that same time, that's when everything started to fall into place for me. It was about a year before I noticed that I didn't really have urges anymore. That said, I had one last night and I had the same one again today. So last night, I was walking my dog about 7 p.m. and I talked about it in the video today, right? Yeah, that was what the whole video was about. I saw a half-empty bottle of beer and it gave me an urge to go and drink a bottle of beer. And I talked about that on the channel today. And then the same thing happened today. Walking past the same shop, I had the urge to go and buy a beer again. It's a very simple one to defeat, because as soon as you recognize it as an urge, it loses its power. So yeah, very simple. But it goes away after... For me, it was about a year before I started to notice that I wasn't having urges really very much anymore. Okay. Violet Line, how do you manage to get such a lovely big house? I love the lighting. It's not that big. I'm using a very wide angle camera. My little DJI Action 4 here that makes it look a lot bigger than it actually is. It's a photographer's trick. If you have to go and photograph your house, if you're listing it on the market for the real estate agent, then you use a very wide angle lens and it makes it look much bigger. I promise it's not that big. And all the lighting is my own because I like it. And the way that I got it is I moved to a cheap country. Backcountry is ace. Thank you, Travis Stockton. Ain't Banksy asks, do you have any experience or knowledge about the combination of anorexia nervosa and alcoholism? I initially struggled with anorexia, then developed an extreme vodka dependency and delirium tremens. I don't know anything about it firsthand, except to acknowledge that I know there is a connection. And beyond that, I don't feel qualified to talk about it. But I would say that my DMs, my Instagram DMs and my emails are full of people who have comorbid eating disorders, as well as alcohol addiction and dependence. Beyond that, I'm not qualified to say, but there is a connection. A14RPO89 asks, what is the most you have drunk within 24 hours without passing out? You get to a stage in late stage alcohol where you pass out pretty easily. So my day would be a liter, or like a liter and a bit of vodka every day. But that would be periodically blacking out, waking up, drinking heavily, blacking out, drinking, waking up. So I wouldn't be able to tell you. And also, anytime I talk about how much I drank, it feels like bragging. It feels like one-upmanship. And that's not healthy. So a lot. That is my answer. Upstating question for the crowd. I'll repeat this just so the crowd get it. Anyone ever inexplicably have the finger-picking guitar and 5 steps you're over pop in your head? That's for everybody else. ADSB, stick a link to your music in the chat and I'll take a listen. Dead Gamers, how did you find doing exercise in early days of sobriety? You're quite good with consistent exercise, aren't you? And being a bigger guy, do you think it's been an advantage for you? The advantage was I was fit before I became a serious alcoholic. So in my 20s, that's the reason why I hold muscle at the moment, is because I had a base of really solid fitness. I did a super marathon, I was a martial artist and all of this stuff. And then, so that's why I like doing it. It's not a chore for me. I have to be in the right mood, and I get tired very easily, but that could be age. So that's the answer, is that exercise for me, I was already doing it, and I did it throughout my alcoholism as well. So yeah, it's kind of natural. Let's keep it moving. DTS again. After repeated relapses, how do you keep faith in your ability to stay sober without getting discouraged? Look, my approach to sobriety is a very realistic one, right? Which means that I do get discouraged, and my faith in my sobriety does waver. And I doubt myself intermittently every day. And I doubt whether I'm good at this stuff. And I doubt whether I should be doing it at all, and whether I'm contributing or whether I'm a problem. I'm a person that's just racked with doubt. And I don't have any faith in my ability to stay sober. Except that acknowledging the negative, acknowledging my weaknesses is a benefit to me. That's what I mean when I say I'm realistic. I see, because of what I do, I'm exposed to a lot of like young and up and coming sober influencers, right? People who live in Bali and have managed to yoga their way out of alcoholism, or sober coaches who it's part of their job to be cheerful when they point a camera at their face. So that's what we see, is this very cheerful, very holistic approach to sobriety. That's not, if it works, fine, no criticism. And everybody's path to sobriety is unique and different, but it's not for me. I feel like a lot of people who do what I do are putting up a bit of a facade about their sobriety, who are pretending that it's easier than it really is, right? I find it difficult. I struggle, and I'm realistic that it is going to be a fight for the rest of my life. And that is what helps keep me sober. For a long time, that is a deflating thought, that I will have to be working hard on my sobriety for the rest of my life. But after a while, it becomes a really affirmative position. It becomes a real statement of affirmation that I am going to be in this fight for as long as I need to be. And credit where it's due to those who are managing to mindfulness their way through, or to holistic their way through their sobriety. That's all fine and good for them. But my approach is one that needs to be more grounded than that. It needs to be more earthy for me to be able to do it. That was a long-winded answer to your question, but I hope, does that make sense? Does that make sense to anybody watching this? That being realistic and acknowledging that it's difficult is important for me. Okay, let's think about wrapping up. Adam Davies, this is a related question here. How do you cope with the constant civil war in your head? One voice says drinking is the worst thing you could do. The other promises it will make the day better. It's exhausting. The sobriety is full of contradiction and paradox, and the constant wrestling in our head between the thought, knowing that this thing will fuck up our lives forever, versus how good it will make us feel very briefly. The trick is to not try to reconcile those two things, but embrace the contradiction. Let both of thoughts exist at the same time. We're getting into really dense CBT and philosophical stuff here, which we're kind of running out of time to do. But that's largely how I survive, is by allowing the negative to live alongside the positive, not trying to stamp out the negative all the time. That's what's exhausting. Instead, embracing the idea that two conflicting emotions can exist at the same time, and that's okay, is how I cope. This is getting very conceptual. I'm sorry about that. Live from Australia at 5:50 in the morning. I'm going to do one specifically for Southern Hemisphere people at some time, I promise, JPS Abbey. But it's good to see you here. Stuart Lee. Oh, Dead Gamer said Stuart Lee. I should have said that. Stuart Lee is all-time #1. We're talking about comedians again. Stuart Lee's new stuff is outrageous. It's so different from what everybody else does. Tig Notaro is in current Star Trek. I had no idea. If you want to know who Stuart Lee is, go to YouTube and put in Stuart Lee, Ang Lee. You know the director Ang Lee? He's got a 15-minute joke about Ang Lee, and it's like 20 years old, but it's still one of the best jokes I've ever heard. Okay. Stu, have you had the snip? No, but I probably will. It's a good question. Are there any songs that when you hear them triggers you? Yeah, there's one. It's called The Wine Song by an Australian band called The Cat Empire. And that used to be my drinking song. And I haven't heard it in sobriety, but I know that even thinking about it makes me think about box wine, the stuff that I used to drink when I was working in kitchens, just straight out of the box. It's got a little tap on the side. You take the bag out and you squeeze it into your mouth. Awful. Do you still, Abro7009 asks, do you still have drinking dreams after all this period of sobriety? Yes. Occasionally. Very rarely now, but it used to be every night. In the first 9 months of sobriety, those dreams were every night. And now, when I have them, they are particularly vivid, and I wake up with real symptoms of hangover, but I don't get them very often anymore. Thank you. I keep meaning to do a video about that, you know. Oh, counting stars. Thank you so much for the contribution. I really appreciate it. Following up on a previous one, Black Lit Parade. Drunkorexia is a term used for comorbid anorexia and alcoholism. Yeah, it's so common that it has a nickname. There we go, to finish up on that one. I lose 2 pounds a day on benders because I barely eat. Truthseek, I lost 7 pounds in a week once, and then even more after I came out of the psych ward. It's deeply dangerous. Journey of Rip. Do you do YouTube full time, or are you still in work too? I'm still in work. I've got a full-time obligations, but I've managed to get my workflow quite sped up, so this doesn't take as much time as it used to. Nana Spetrup asks, hello there, do you avoid food and candy containing alcohol? Yes, I avoid it like the plague. Not everybody has to. My girlfriend is also a sober person, and she's kind of more relaxed with this. But I am very dogmatic about it. I won't even take soy sauce anymore, even though I love it. I can't have it. And if there's a box of chocolates, I will ask if any of them have alcohol before I take any. I'm one of them. I'm one of them fussy people. I'm really sorry. I know that's annoying. But that's a good question. Okay. I think I'm going to wrap up. If you'll just give me a moment. I'm going to wrap up. I'm just going to quickly make sure I'm not missing anything important in the comments. But someone here has asked me to do my version of the Serenity Prayer, my kind of secular, my secular version of the Serenity Prayer. So I'm going to do that now, and then I'm going to end this, and perhaps I'll make this a theme. I'll do this more regularly. Okay, so here's my version. It's quite simple. It's much shorter. It's the Serenity Prayer, just abridged and made more personal. And it goes like this. Embrace what I can't change. Change what I can. Know the difference. That is it. I would like to thank you all for watching and for being with me for the last hour. Sorry it was a bit messy at the beginning, and sorry I might have mistimed it for a few people. But I hope you got something out of it. I hope you have a fantastic day and then a great week going into Monday. And as always, say it with me. Good luck out there. Goodbye.